see-through solid effects are visual eye candies that dazzle across language barriers. The visual is so strong that you don't even need a presentation. Our friend Felix Bowden from the Dominican Republic, being an obsessive perfectionist, has developed a unique penetration effect with the fairest approach we've seen. Penetration effects on the market are fast-paced to conceal the working, but imagine yourself slowly passing a playing card through a borrowed object in the cleanest way possible. You have full control over every bit of the penetration and can pause at any time to enhance the fiber-through-fiber syncing process. A beautifully deceiving design made for the perfectionist and dedicated artist. This is Cortana.
Hey guys, it's Herman here from Sans Minds Magic. Now first off, I'm going to thank you guys for picking up this project and supporting us here. And now that you have this in your hands and you're watching this explanation, you're going to learn one of the cleanest, if not the cleanest, card-through object that I've ever seen. And it's from our very creative friend, Felix Bowden. And I'm very glad that he's willing to share it with all of you because it's just so visually stunning. Now, whether you're doing this for a promo video or you're performing it to a live audience, it is without a doubt very, very visually deceiving. And what's beautiful about it is that you can be so slow with the entire process. You control every moment that the card passes through that borrowed object. And like I said, it's borrowed, so it could be a bill, it could be a receipt, it could be a bus ticket, you name it. And in the main handling, we're going to go over everything you need in order to perform the effect, as well as how you can start and end absolutely clean. Everything is examinable from start to finish. So I won't take any more of your time. Let's take a look at how it is in action.
Touch any card, just touch one. Take it out, show to your friends. Show to a camera and show to me. Jack of hearts. Yay! Okay. It's okay. So it's nothing to do with the cards. You guys have a bill. I promise you I'll give it back to you. Yeah, no, just a bill. Anything.
I have a $20 American
That's
bill.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Do you hold this for a sec? You're gonna like this. Do you know where is the bill made out of? Paper, right? You're gonna like this, right? Ready? Give this to a friend?
Yeah.
Check it out. You guys should totally do this at home, alright? If you take a bill and just rub against the middle, it becomes so hot.
Can you turn it into 100? Thank you.
I will, later. Don't be a gold digger from now, right? Alright. You gotta like this, okay? If I rub in the middle, it becomes so hot, you're almost like it's gonna start to melt, right? Isn't it? It starts to melt. Like that. It's melt all the way. I can take it all the way out. It's super hot. Be careful. It's super hot. Be careful. It's super hot. Is it hot? No, take it. You can try it too. It works every time. Try it. You know, it's gonna take about 3 hours to work. So, you know.
So I know you guys are probably dying to find out what is the secret to this beautiful, beautiful solid through solid effect. Well, let's find out and let's take a closer look at the gimmick. So this playing card is actually the gimmick that allows you to pass through the borrowed object. Whether it's a borrowed bill or a receipt or a bus pass, any currency, doesn't matter for what bill you are using, or a playing card, this is what happens. There's a slider, just like so. So from here you can see that there is a slider which will help you in terms of creating the illusion of it passing through the object. So let me show you what the working is, okay? So you're feeding it between the bill, just like that, or the object, just like so. So you're left in this position. Now I'm just walking through the actual gimmick and the working of the gimmick itself. In the main handling, we'll go over what you'll need to do in order to, start and end clean, but this is when you can pass through the object, just like that. And what's happening is this card is kind of retracting to this secret little compartment, okay? and then you can pass through it one more time, just like that, all the way. This way you can briefly show the inside a little bit to show that it's halfway through their borrowed bill. And this is when you lift the card back up, but from an exposed angle, what's happening here. This is what it looks like. But with the slider, you're just keeping it in place as you're pulling the card up very slowly. And then you pull it all the way, blow on the bill, hand it out, and it is their normal bill. Now again, that's just a brief look at the gimmick and the function of the gimmick, but in the main handling, we'll be going over the details on how you actually want to perform the effect. Now, along with the explanation, you'll be provided with a template, and you'll be using it as a guide so that you have these pieces in front of you. Now, I have all the pieces laid out in front, and I want to talk about them each individually. So this one right over here. Now, with that guide, you'll know precisely where to cut, but you'll be left with one of these, just like that. And once you have this, you would just fold these in, just like so. And once it's folded, this is the piece you're left with. Now, this can be any card. The ones that are facing you right now with the back design, those are the ones that can be any card. These ones we'll talk about later, but these ones, it does not matter what card it is, as long as you have the back design like so. Now, the next piece is this right over here. And again, you can use the template as a reference to know precisely where to cut. Again, any random card. And here, another one, bigger portion of the card. Now, these two pieces over here, now they need to be matching court cards. Now, in this case, I'm using the King of Clubs, but there are two fairly thick lines running across right over here. Now, I know it's a little hard to catch on camera, but if I turn it around, it should be a little bit easier to see. And again, the template is provided so you can see precisely where to cut. Now, in terms of the thickness of the cutout right over here, you can actually play around with it so it doesn't need to be that thick, because what you're doing next is you're putting this in, and once you play around with it, you'll know that it doesn't necessarily need to be too thick, but the template provided for you is a good reference in terms of the thickness of how much you want to cut. Now, because I'm using the King of Clubs, the cutout of the middle portion of the King of Clubs as well, depending on which court card you use, and we do recommend that you use a court card because of its busy design. You'll want to cut out a matching middle portion just like that. And in terms of the sizing, you can use the template as a reference again. So once you have all these pieces out in front of you and you've cut it out with either a pair of scissors or your precision blade over a cutting mat, what you want to do is, of course, put it together. This is the fun part. You get to build your very own gimmick. So first off, you want to take this card right over here. And what you're going to do is you're going to put this through in the following fashion. Okay? So this folded portion is going to go through these lines over here, okay? So you'll be putting this through the two lines just like that. So on the other side, it looks like it's kind of hugging the card, the middle portion of the card. And from this side, this is what it looks like. So it slides up and down, just like that, okay? Once you have that, on this side, you'll flip it around. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take double-sided tape, and you're going to tape that portion together. Okay? And the reason I'm using double-sided tape is because I'm going to put that cutout of that court card on top, just to hide this piece. Disguise it along with the design of the court card. Okay, just like that. I'm going to place this right on top so it matches. And you want to cover the lines as well, okay? Now, it doesn't need to be perfect because it is a busy design and it's able to cover it very beautifully, just like that. So it's going up and down on this side, up and down. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put this piece right over here, the smaller piece, on top, just like so, okay? So if I just slowly put it on top, just like this, as you can see, okay? And how you're gonna hold it down is you're gonna either piece it together with double stick tape or you're gonna use rubber cement. Now in this case, for explanation purposes, I'm just going to use double-sided tape. Now, if there's any excess, you can of course cut it out, cut it away and trim it so it's nice and beautiful, nice and neat. But again, like I said before, you can use rubber cement. So I'm just going to trim this. Snippety snip. Right over here as well. Okay. And once this is nice and sticky, you just place that on the top over here, okay? Of course, you're aligning the edge. Just like that. Now I know it's a little bit hard to catch on camera, but now it's blended in with the design. But that top portion allows you to still freely move this piece around just like that, okay? You're just giving some depth so you can disguise it as you put this piece on top right over here, just like that, okay? That's your remaining piece, that is your last piece. And what you're gonna do is you're going to put some double stick tape over here, and then you're gonna apply this on top, okay? And that's going to hide this sliding portion right over here. Now, to actually quickly talk about this piece, because I didn't mention this before, is that you actually probably want to use the same color as your court card design. So in this case, I'm using the King of Clubs. I'm using a black court card, so I like having the Six of Clubs over here because when I place this on top, now on the other side, I'm placing it on top like this. But because of the lines over here, you can still see through the lines a bit. And if I used a red card, then you'd be able to see through the lines that it's red. So that's why I'm using a black card over here. I'm not using something like the 3 or the 2 where the pips are in the middle. I'm using something where the pips are on the side. Just so it blends in with the court card design. So let us do that. Again, I'm going to use double stick tape. So I'm going to place this aside. And I'm taping it on top of that extra piece that I put on previously. Okay. And again, you're going to trim off any excess tape just along right over here. And now you're going to place that piece right on top, just like that, okay? And of course, you want to align the top portion, just like that, so it's nice and snug. And that will hide the slits. So now you're left with this very beautiful piece right over here, this moving piece down over here. And on the other side, this piece over here that helps control the slide. Just like that. And now your beautiful gimmick is done. As easy as that, all you have to do is cut some pieces out according to the template and just put it all together just like that. Now, once you finish constructing your gimmick and you're playing around with it and you're just sliding the piece up and down, just like that, and you feel like, number one, it feels a little loose so that this starts to kind of move left and right a bit. So it's not going straight up and down. Or you feel like it's so tight that it's very hard to slide up and down, because this should be relatively effortless. Now, if you feel like it's a little bit too loose and it's going off the track, so right now, if it's too loose, as you can see, it's coming off the edge just like that, and it's not going straight up and down, just like that. And that's not good. So what you want to do is actually have this fold tighter by pushing in a little more, so it hugs onto that centerpiece a little bit tighter. And now, if you just stick it back with that double stick tape, you'll notice that when you go up and down, it's nice and straight, nice and aligned with the edge over here. And now you can just stick that middle piece back on, and you're ready to rock and roll. And now you're done constructing your gimmick. All right, guys, here comes the exciting part where we get to learn how to actually perform the effect. So at this point, you have your gimmick already made. Here I have the Queen of Diamonds gimmick, and just look at it slide. Just look at it. It's beautiful. But let's actually go over the preparation in terms of, what you need to do in terms of setting up for the effect. So first, of course, you need a matching deck of cards to whatever you made with the gimmick. So once you have a deck, you will also need to find the matching court card to your gimmick, which in this case is the Queen of Diamonds, okay? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna actually place the gimmick on top first, face down just like that, okay? Now I like to orient it in a way where from the front, you wouldn't be able to see that line, just like that. But from the magician's angle, it's a little more apparent. But from the front, they wouldn't be able to see that line very apparently, and that matching court card is going to go right on top just like that, okay? Now, the bottommost card from the deck is going to be flipped around upside down just like that, okay? And then your deck is set. Now to run through one more time, the orientation is Queen of Diamonds, your matching court card on top, the normal one, the gimmick, both face down, rest of the deck, and then upside down card. And this can be in your pocket, can be in your card case, and then once you pull it out, you're ready to perform. Now the routine that I'm about to teach you allows you to start absolutely clean and end absolutely clean as well. That means that you can hand out that court card that penetrates through that bill before and after the effect. Now, in order to do that, you may feel like there's a lot of steps. Now for seasoned magicians and workers, you're not going to find this problem at all. You'll know how you can get away with all of this very easily. However, if you're just getting started in the magic and this is one of your first DVDs that you picked up, then you may feel like it's a little overwhelming to go through this many steps to accomplish it. However, I'm going to slowly break everything down, go through step by step, so to make sure that you're comfortable when you are doing these moves, and especially since all these moves are done in the offbeat and they fly by the spectator as well. Now, for those of you who are familiar with magic, you'll know what I mean when I go through everything. So your deck is set up, it's in your hand, you found your victims, and you want to impress them. Now the first thing we're going to do is force that top card, the clean Queen of Diamonds, or your matching court card. Now you can use your favorite force to do so. However, in the explanation, I'm going to teach you a very basic force, the riffle force. Now if you need a more in-depth explanation, we do have a prerequisite section in the DVD where you can go in and learn the riffle force and also a pinky break, all those basics if you don't have it under your belt already. But let's quickly go over how to accomplish this. So if you take a closer look, what happens, first of all, is while you're talking to them and you're introducing yourself, you can just quickly do a slip cut so that the Queen of Diamonds is in the middle of the deck, and then you're going to retain a pinky break, just like that, okay? So one more time. You're just cutting that Queen of Diamonds to the middle of the deck very casually, very nonchalantly, and then requiring a break, just like that, okay? What you're going to do is when you're ready to perform, you ask them to say stop whenever, giving the illusion that you are stopping wherever they say stop. However, we know that no matter where they say stop, they pick the Queen of Diamonds. So let's do that one more time. Say stop anytime, right over here. This is your card, go ahead and take a look at it. And it's in their hands at this point. And this is when they examine the card, make sure that it's a normal playing card. And then while that's happening and you're talking to them and just, you're asking to examine it, your hands are gonna come together and you're gonna do a bit of a secret move. What you're gonna do is you're gonna flip over that gimmick so that's face up. So if you go to my hands, you can see that because all the attention is to you talking to the spectator and them, looking at the clean Queen of Diamonds, your hands are gonna come together and you're gonna just casually flip over the Queen of Diamonds, just like so, as your hands are relaxed and you're just naturally just chilling there. And you're also risk killing a little bit so that they don't see what's going on. Of course, you don't want to just flip a card over just like that in front of them, otherwise that doesn't make any sense. This is happening on the offbeat and very naturally because you're not drawing attention to your hands and you're just turning over the card. Fairly easy to do. So when you're in this position from the front, they still can't see anything, and you're going to ask for a bill. And when you gesture to ask for a bill, you're going to turn the deck 180 just like that. As you point and say, do you have a bill on you? Or do you have a receipt on you, or bus pass? Whatever it is that you're penetrating. So again, from here, you're going to say, oh, do you have a bill on you? And then again, the attention is not on your hands, so this flies by just like that, okay? And then now you're in the perfect position to take back that Queen of Diamonds as they are looking for that bill. You're going to place it in your hand just like that, okay? Because, of course, you want to empty their hands, free their hands so that they can grab their bill. And also, they'll be folding it. So you can grab that Queen of Diamonds when they're about to fold it as well. Doesn't matter, but you're in the position where you can take that card back just like that. And then when you're gesturing and asking them to fold the bill, because let's say, all right, they brought out a bill, in this case, right over here. It's not folded. And this is in your hand right now. You're going to say, oh, can you fold it in half for me? Now, because they don't know how to fold it in half, you can gesture it, and whenever you find the right timing, all you have to do is just do that, and you're flipping the deck around again, and now you're left with a gimmick on top. Okay? So it's all about the timing, but you're asking them, oh, can you fold it in half? And that gesture, you've already done that flip over, so now you've switched it out for the gimmick card. Face up just like that. Now in terms of the timing of when you want to actually flip the deck around, in the gesture of having them fold the bill, if you see that they're struggling a little bit, maybe you don't want to actually do the flip yet until they're about pretty much done, and you say, oh, crease it really nicely, and that can be the timing of when you can do the flip. And because this flies by really quickly, you can do it whenever you like. It's happening in the offbeat, especially since there's no heat on your hands, because all the attention is on the bill that they're folding in half, their borrowed bill. So let's do that one more time, just all together. Now for explanation purposes, I'm just going to show you a quick split screen in terms of what's happening with my hands while I'm talking to the spectator, which would be you in this case. So remember that everything is happening in the gesture of you instructing them on what to do, which is bringing out the bill and also folding it in half. So right now I'm in the get ready position. So I just slip cut and say, okay, can you just go ahead and say stop anytime? Right over here. Take out this card. Remember this card, or take a look at it, make sure it's a normal card, and all your attention is on the Queen of Diamonds right now. Your hands are going to come together and say, oh, do you actually have a dollar bill on you, or a $20 bill, whatever your currency, whatever bill you prefer. Take the card back as they are looking for their bill. You're in this scenario right now, in this situation, and you're going to say, oh, can you actually just fold the bill in half? Oh, just like this. And in that gesture, it's already been done. And let's say they have folded the bill exactly how you want it. So leaving a little bit of room on top, just like so. And just like that, you are ready to push off this gimmick. So that's in the orientation where you're ready to perform the effect. And this deck is now going to go into your spectator's hand. So you're going to take that bill while you give this to the spectator, or if there's a second spectator, you can hand the deck over to them and they can hold on to it. And make sure that they're holding on to it like so. Okay? That way it's easier to retrieve later on. So the entire deck is face down, except for this face-up card, and also the Queen of Diamonds, okay? So this is, I'm just gonna place it on the table for now, but let's pretend this is the spectator's hand. And now you're left in this position, where you have the gimmick in your hand, and you also take the bill, okay? Now, what's gonna happen is you're gonna feed this card into the bill. Now, instead of just feeding the card very carefully, just like that, and finding that slit, because what's happening is, as I showed you in the secret section, I already told you what's happening. You're actually trying to find that slit, and then putting the bill between the two layers, so that if I exaggerate it, this is kind of how it looks like. Okay. Now, instead of carefully doing that, which may look kind of unnatural, unless you're a pro at this trick and you can finally just effortlessly put it in just like that. If you're doing it for a promo video, for example, and this is okay. However, when you're performing with a live audience and you're talking to them, you have all this direction towards what you're talking about, and you can just, your hands can naturally do whatever they want and no one cares. So that's when your hands relax. And what Jason and I like to do is we like to create a bit of a gap, so it's easier for us to feed the card into the bill. Okay? How you do that is I just take my pinky, I try to find that layer right there, and because I'm angling it in a way where it's like this, no one's going to be able to see it. But in an exposed angle, if I just kind of exaggerate it, take my pinky, and I'm basically peeling that back layer, so I'm creating a gap, just like that. And I'm going to feed it to the bill as my hands come together and relax. Because to the spectator, what's happening is your hands are just relaxing, and you're just naturally putting the card between that fold for the bill, just like that. But what the spectators doesn't see is that your hands, when they naturally come together and relax, you've already feeded that card into its appropriate position, just like that. Okay? Now, depending on what currency you're using, what kind of bill you're using, in this case, I'm using a Canadian $20 bill. There is a window right over here, which is a nice little visual to show that, before the magical moment happens, they can still see that the card is between the bill. Now, of course, you don't really want to point that out. It's just kind of a bit of a subtlety, a visual subtlety, where they can still see the moment the card is still in between the fold before it sinks through their borrowed bill. That's a nice little perk if you're using bills like this with a little window. But of course, you don't want to do the penetration through the window, otherwise the secret is revealed and exposed. So when you have it in this position and you show that the card is in between the fold, this is the lovely little perk about this effect, is that they can see the card in the bill before it penetrates it. So just like that. And when you're ready to perform the penetration effect, you just want to push it off to the middle, just like that. And then you want to pinch onto the card as well as the bill. So from an exposed angle, from your point of view, you see this. From the front, they see this. Now, a quick tip is that when you're showing that the card is inside the bill, you may be worried about this line over here, okay? So a quick thing you may want to do is also, depending on the environment that you want to perform, is a softer lighting situation, not only that, so that you don't see that line as apparently, but also you want to tilt down a little bit, and that helps hide it a little bit, okay? And also, your fingers can come here to pinch onto the card just like that. And this is okay because you're just showing that you're holding the card between the bill just like that before you fold it up just like so. Okay? And what that does is you're hiding the lines right over here and also pressing it so that it's more flush to the card, reducing that risk of exposing the line. And this is your ready position. You're now ready to perform the effect. And when you are, what's going to happen is this. You're going to just push very slowly down. Okay? And very slowly, you can stop anytime, as slow as you like, and halfway just like that. And you can show very quickly, just flash a little bit, that it really is through the entire card, which is another lovely little quality of this effect. Now, when you're pulling it out, this is how it looks. And just like that. Blow the bill, hand it out, and it's in their hands. Now, let me show you from an exposed angle what's happening, okay? Your card has been fed in this following fashion. This is what you see. Now, quick tip is that you don't want to push it all the way, especially when you're feeding the card. Depending on the, I suppose, width of the bill, you may risk flashing that it has penetrated a little bit already. Just like that, before you actually do the effect. So, just be careful of that. And from the back, you can see that it hasn't passed through the bill yet. And when you're ready to perform the effect, again, you're pinching onto the card and the bill, just like that. And then you're going to slowly push the card through. And as you can see, the slider stays into place as the card goes through. And then you can see with the tracks that you made through the cutout, how much is left that you can penetrate through. So just like that, I still have a little left. I can just go all the way just like that. This is when you can quickly flash. Now, in terms of quickly flashing the card, what I do not recommend is showing it all the way like that. Otherwise, that kind of destroys the illusion. You want to kind of show that halfway point, just like that, and try to aim that for their eye, okay? So they can see that it's halfway. Of course, you don't want to reveal too much. So once you push it all the way and you're ready to pull out the card, you want to slowly do it in this fashion. Your thumb is going to go on this piece right over here, and then your two front fingers are going to apparently pull up the card. However, your thumb is actually going down. So as you can see, I'm pushing the slider down with my thumb as I'm pulling the rest of the card up, just like that. And then just about here, I pull the card all the way out. As the attention is all on the bill, I blow it, and then I hand it to the spectator. And because this isn't in focus, looks like a normal playing card, but all the focus is on the bill right now, their borrowed bill that you hand out to make sure that's normal. So when you pull that card out, you want to make sure that all the focus is on the bill, because you want to, look at the bill, blow on it, and then immediately hand that bill out to the spectator so that they blow on it as well, making sure that it's healed, and then ask them to unfold the bill and make sure that there's nothing, no hole, no seam, no cut. Now that is the general focus. But what's happening in terms of your dirty work is that once you pull this out from the bill, just like that, you're saying, go ahead, blow on the bill, and all the attention's on the bill. Your hand, this hand right over here, now your spectator is still holding on to the deck over here, or if you're performing in a table environment, then your deck is on the table, but you're gonna grab that deck. In the action of grabbing the deck, you're gonna place this card right on top, and you're gonna say, go ahead and check out your bill. And just like that, you flip the deck around. And now that leaves you with a normal queen of diamonds that you can hand out right after if you want to. So taking it from here one more time, you pull it all the way out, blow on the bill, unfold that bill, make sure that is your bill, and just like that, you end up with a queen of diamonds. So that's it, that is the effect. Now they're left with an absolutely clean, examinable bill because it is a borrowed bill, and also a clean playing card if they do want to see it as well. In terms of referencing for the timing, you can always go to a live performance and see when Jason actually executes the move. But as I mentioned before, all these moves are happening while you're talking to your audience, and it's just hidden in your natural body language. Now be sure that you do put in the practice so that you don't even need to think about what you're doing, and when you're actually melting that playing card through that borrowed bill, it is so rewarding, especially when you're practicing this in front of a mirror as well. It just looks so visually deceiving, and it's lots of fun. So be sure that you do go out and perform this, and just remember to have fun. So before you go out and perform, I actually want to leave you guys with a few tips that may help you out when you are practicing for this effect. Now the first thing is, when you're feeding the card to the bill or the borrowed object that has been folded, what if it's hard to land the card in just like that? Okay, what you actually want to do is you want to try and aim the corner first. That's how I got it in my first try just now. You want to start with the corner and then try and aim for it. If you're doing like a promo video, or even when you're performing this live, when you're opening it up with a gap with your pinky, just like that, you're trying to aim that corner so that it goes like that in between the two layers. So all it should look like is just casually placing the playing card between the fold of the bill, and especially since you haven't paid attention to it yet, once it's in the position you say, oh hey, so you can see the playing card in the fold, and then watch. And that's when the attention is actually on the card and the bill. So that's number one. Now number two is that when you're actually performing with a bill like this one where there's a window, there's a transparency area just right over here. Be sure that when you're actually doing the penetration effect, that you are not doing it through the window. Otherwise, clearly it would expose the method, okay? So just be sure that if you are using a polymer build just like this one, that you, after you fold it, that you do move the card to the center and then say watch, and then do the effect. Now, number 3 is that what you might be worried about when you're performing this effect is that depending in your environment, you may be able to see this black line right over here, okay? Now, because we're in a studio, there's harsher lights, so it'll be a little more apparent. But when you're actually performing this effect, if you're doing this even in natural daylight or in a restaurant or whatever interior situation that you're performing this, and just be sure that there are softer lighting situations and you're not performing this, in front of like a spotlight or anything like that. And also, if you find that there is a harsh light, then just be sure that it's, hitting your back so that you're using shadow to cover whatever it is that you're doing. But because of the busyness of the bicycle design, you can get away with this without a problem. Now, speaking of that, because we're using a busy core card design, you won't need to worry about, the face, especially since they're not going to be looking at it and you're not actually showing and letting them grill onto the face of the card. Because maybe you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable that you're showing a card that has 2 slits down over here. As I mentioned before, because it's a core card and it's busy and there's no attention to it, you really don't need to worry about it, especially since there's this additional piece over here acting as a bit of an additional cover. So those are just a few tips that I wanted to leave you guys with. Be sure that you do put in the practice and go out and perform this amazing effect. So guys, that is it. That is how you perform this beautiful solid through solid effect with a board object, again from our friend Felix Bowden. Now in the explanation, we've gone through everything you need in order to perform the effect, how you can start and end absolutely clean. However, if you feel like we've missed out anything or you've got further questions, then feel free to send us over a message and we'll be more than happy to help. Now as usual, stay tuned with us at Sans Minds because we've got some amazing stuff coming out that I know you guys are going to love. And again, my name is Herman. I'll see you guys next time.